Hey, how's it going? So I'm just doing a new testimony because that one is kind of old and it's even hard to hear. And just kind of talk about like what God's done in my life since that day. It's been 10 years since I gave that testimony, and my life has changed in so many different ways, um, for the good, and I've been through rough times too. Um, I found God on Pendleton Pike in the middle of the road with kneeling next to a man that I thought was dead. And that's what changed me. That's where I found God. That was where my but God moment started in my life. Um, Backstory, if you didn't watch the video, I was driving to work. It was about 3:45 a.m. and I work for Frito-Lay, so I get up pretty early in the morning. Um, I was driving down the road, and some of the bars were closing down, and it's a little rougher part of town. And I was on my way to my first stop. Nobody on the road, absolutely nobody. And out of the corner of my right eye, I saw what I thought was a blur. Couldn't identify it at the time. I just heard a big thump. And I look in my mirror and I see a guy that I had just hit. And that kind of shook me up. I immediately got out of the truck, went to see what was going on, and saw a man about 20 feet. He flew about 20 feet off the side of the truck. I hit him on the right front side, near the headlight. And when I realized what happened, I guess a bunch of fear and panic kind of struck. Almost like that feeling you get in your chest when you get pulled over by a cop and you know you're in trouble. That's how I felt. I knew I was in trouble. All this stuff started going through my head. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to jail. All this stuff. Never once did the thought, this was an accident, this wasn't my fault, cross my mind. So I jumped back in the truck. I threw that truck in drive. And I was going to leave. I was out of there. Like, this wasn't me. I wasn't going to be able to do this. This was my way out. And through the power of Jesus Christ, which I now see now, I don't even remember putting that truck in park, putting the hazard lights on, pulling it over into the median out of the way, and even walking out onto the roadway in the middle of the street and standing next and kneeling down to the man I just hit, praying over top of him. God gave me the power and strength that day to get through what I was going through in that moment. And I went and I flagged down the first car I saw, and it just happened to be a police officer. And she told me to get back in my truck, and I waited till all the other police came, and I got out of my truck and I asked them if the gentleman was okay. I was told, no, he's dead. It's not your fault. Don't worry about it. He shouldn't have been walking on the road. And I look back on that, and I guess now I see that they just saw how upset I was, and how shaken I was in that moment. And I guess they were just trying to make me feel better. I personally don't know if they thought he was dead or not. We all seem to think he was. So what ended up happening was ambulance came, they took him away. Still at this point I thought he was dead. I could hardly feel my legs, I could hardly stand up. it was terrifying. It truly was terrifying. And I called my work, and they arranged for me to go to the hospital with the police to take a routine drug and alcohol screening. My wife followed me there, and when I got there, I found out he was alive, but he was in critical condition, which made me feel even worse. I mean, I guess better that he's alive, but even worse that I felt like I put him there. And it was really hard. It was. And I took a couple weeks off of work. I finally thought I could go back, and there was my truck that I was driving that day, and it was still caved and smashed in, and it was just a reminder of like what had happened. And I didn't feel like I could do this. I ended up getting in the truck and starting my day, and it was a struggle bus. Like, I had the hardest time even getting to my first stop driving. I remember a leaf blew across the road, and even that, I'm slamming on brakes, freaking out. And I didn't think I could possibly do this. And I get to my first stop, and I'm in the back room of a Walmart on Pendleton Pike, nonetheless, just 2 minutes from where the accident happened. And I just broke down. I was like, God, I can't do this. I've known you for my whole life. I have knowledge of you, but I need your presence right now, and I need help, Lord. And I instantly felt his presence in my life from that moment. And I started to feel a little better, and I had the Bible app on my phone. I didn't even remember I even had it on there. I hadn't read the Bible in years. And I was a sideline Christian. You know, I was the guy that showed up in church and punched the time clock and did all the religious routines to put on a show for everyone around me and God, thinking, if I do this, if I play the part, dress the right way, act the right way, and talk the right way, I'm gonna get into heaven. And that is just not the case. But I ended up getting 2 notifications on my Bible app for me to start reading plans. I've never done a reading plan on the Bible app. Like I said, I didn't even know I had the Bible app on my phone. So I clicked on it, and one was on forgiveness, which I was struggling to forgive myself. And the other one was on grief and suffering. And I just felt like I was grieving and suffering from what I had been through. And the fact that the guy I hit was still in the hospital, in a coma, fighting for his life. And that was a struggle. And I guess a couple of the verses the first couple I read in that reading plan was like Philippians 4:13. For I can do all things through Christ, which strengthened me. And that's my life verse, and has been ever since that day. The Lord is my refuge and my strength. And another one that stuck out was Isaiah 43:18 and 19. For forget all that is nothing compared to what I'm going to do, for I'm about to do something new. See, I've already begun. Do you see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in a dry wasteland. That verse has always been close to my heart. And from that day on, like the struggles started getting better. It did. And I felt a change in my life. I gave my heart over to the Lord. I asked him for forgiveness, and he came into my life and changed me. That didn't mean that things got easier, because goodness, it didn't. Work got harder. I became depressed. I felt like I wanted to be a pastor. I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to change people and affect this world for Christ, and which got me not liking my job anymore. Got me thinking, this isn't my calling. Lord, why would you call me to this and not open the doors? Every door just kept closing in my face. And one day I woke up and God told me, this is your calling. You don't have to be on a platform. You don't have to speak to hundreds or thousands of people. Affect people every day where you are. And that's what I started doing. So I started telling people about God. I started growing in my confidence, growing in my faith. And the Lord just really affected my life. And ever since then, I've felt this deep yearning to just help people and spread the gospel. I enjoy working in inner city routes because I feel like I can really make a difference here and help here. I enjoy talking to people at work about God, my family, and I truly just want to stress that even when you find that moment, when you give your life to Christ, it's not going to get easier. And in fact, it's going to get harder. And you're even going to walk through some valleys, climb some mountains, and be in some dark times. But just remember that with Jesus, we have a flashlight and a roadmap, a GPS system, and an instruction manual with the Bible to get through all that. And that doesn't mean you're not going to sin, because believe me, I fell back into sin. And God renews me every day, and I thank him for that. Well, this was just a follow-up testimonial video I wanted to do for a while now. Basically following up on the video that you're going to see of my first initial testimony. If any of y'all need any help or prayer, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Believe me, talking about Jesus is the funnest thing I can do in my life. It's totally in my wheelhouse, and I love it. I love spreading the word. I love telling people about God. So I guess that's it, everybody.